Hello, and welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit two or more characters against each other in a battle of strength, or wits, or breezing through the Turing test like the word search on the back of a Red Lobster kids menu. And see who would win. This week, in a battle of wartime AIs, EDI from Mass Effect versus Cortana from Halo. Quasar, satellite, galaxy, exoplanet, nebula, dwarf star, space word.
Are you trying to summon Liz?
Space words for a space war. Or astro kerfuffle, as it's being called to avoid copyright infringement. Astro kerfuffle, day 489. Keelan Lowry looked out upon the vastness of space from the ship in dark orbit of a small moon that crosses the orbits of both Mars and Earth. That moon is Zorak. Man, things got real weird after Space Ghost Coast to Coast became recognized as a polytheistic mythological pantheon. Thanks, Keelan.
Wow.
The ship has been in dark orbit for months now, as the astro kerfuffle has continued to heat up. Mars and Earth both vying for control over strategic areas of space between them, while avoiding the threat of Belter terrorists. It's been a game of cat, and other more different cat, full of strategy and tactics. The kerfuffle is likely to be long, and with limited resources, neither side can hope to have a decisive victory in all-out war. Thankfully, Keelan thinks they've got EDI on their side, a powerful AI with a throaty voice that means the crew takes an unusually high amount of cold showers. EDI's got the hacking power and the tactical insight that have kept them alive this long and will hopefully keep them alive today as a ground team prepares to leave the ship and begin the process of rigging Zorak to explode while in near-Earth orbit. Earth forces are near, and both sides have been silently waiting for the other to make a move on this strategic moon. Today, tonight, this afternoon, time is hard in space. The battle for Zorak begins in earnest. Elsewhere, in the darkness, is a ship from Earth, armed with another powerful AI, Cortana. Cortana also has an immense catalog of strategy, hacking skills, and a sexy voice. Space really seems to bring out the sexy voices for some reason. Anyway, the Earth crew is also making the move to the surface of Zorak to begin turning it into a secret military base from which operations can be launched. Also maybe rigging it to explode if need be, because it's always good to have an exploding moon in your back pocket when you're up against the wall, as the old space saying goes. Both ground teams will be relying on their AI to see them through a mission where they'll be trying to maneuver while keeping their enemy unaware of their position. Each AI will be hacking through the other's programming to sabotage the other, intercept communications, and just generally find out what those filthy Earthers or filthy Martians are up to. Each ground crew is small and vulnerable to attack, so keeping them alive is a challenge. Belter activity has been noted nearby, so your AI may choose to avoid the attention of the Belters or to use them against their enemy. But the goal is to kick the opposing team off of Zorak and claim this moon in the name of your home planet.
Yay!
Yeah, the moon! Which AI is poised to help their side seize the moon? I have no idea. Furthermore, I fear space and mistrust its intentions. So I, Megan Bob, will be your terrified and impartial judge this week. Advocating for Team EDI are Dan Mulcairn.
You will need what I believe organics call a miracle.
And Kit Mulcairn.
I anticipate Team Cortana will be expending copious amounts of bullshit during this match. I suggest probing Uranus to ensure we are sufficiently equipped to compensate. That was a joke.
Advocating for Team Cortana are Miles Schneiderman.
I know what you're thinking, and it's bullshit. Unfortunately for us both, I like bullshit.
And Colin Mulcairn.
They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever character I wanted to represent this week. And you know me, I did my research, and I chose you, Cortana, because EDI sucks.
Oh man, the delivery there. the delivery.
You're no longer allowed to play Mass Effect.
I
ever
know! I'm as upset about this as you are. I mean, wait, no. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all crap, by the way. We didn't let him pick. What are you talking about?
Don't break kayfabe, Miles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you of all people.
To determine which team goes first this week, I would like to ask you a trivia question.
Oh no, it's back.
It's spreading like a virus.
No, it matters to me, goddammit! Okay, Galaxy Quest, perhaps the finest space film ever made.
Agreed.
Truth. Yeah.
Please tell me what the catchphrase of Alan Rickman's character is in the
Oh,
film.
by
By Graftar's hammer, I shall avenge
shall
you.
be
Oh, man.
avenged.
Colin blurted first, and as we know in Smash Fiction, it's all about being the first to blurt. So.
But did he say the full quote?
He does do it different
I
ways.
consider by Graftar's
True.
hammer to be enough. So Team Cortana will be going first, followed by Team Edie. Team Cortana, thanks for the tank. The other team never gets me anything.
Look, I'm not the guy who's gonna carry this team with my intimate familiarity with the Mass Effect and Halo franchises. I'm no hero. I'm just a man who knows nothing about video games, telling you straight up that if I found myself in the middle of a 3-army space conflict and had to choose one artificial intelligence to win my war for me, I'm going with the one who wears the Matrix's bondage gear, not the futuristic bowling trophy with Geordie LaForge's taste in sunglasses. Cortana has every conceivable advantage in this match. Experience, intelligence, ranking on creepy listicles about the hottest women in video games, you name it. Just like Microsoft coming up with a name for its new personal assistant program, in this match, there's only one choice that makes sense. Cortana was created when the brilliant scientist Catherine Halsey cloned her own brain and turned it into a supercomputer, which, in basketball terms, would be like giving LeBron James the power cosmic. Halsey was one of the smartest, if not the smartest, living humans, with an IQ in the 200s and a list of mastered disciplines that include quantum physics, genetics, xenology, archaeology, engineering, computer science, medical science, space travel, and art. #DanList. Bake that piece of brain dough in the science fiction oven at 350, and an hour later, you get the smartest, fastest artificial intelligence in a universe where artificial intelligences view seconds of idleness as interminable periods of boredom. Let me put it like this. The human Dr. Halsey had the smarts and expertise to outwit regular AIs on her own. Cortana is the AI version of that, which might be why when we see her go up against other AIs in the Halo series, she destroys them and eats their brains to gain their knowledge. If EDI and Cortana ever go head-to-head directly, EDI's program is going to look like Jarvis from Act 2 of Age of Ultron. But since this match is about leading soldiers into battle, I guess I should go on to remind you that pretty much everything Master Chief accomplishes in the Halo series is actually a thing that Cortana accomplishes in the Halo series. She plans military operations, provides mid-fight tactical advice, and basically comes up with every crucial piece of information and mission idea necessary to save the galaxy in the first 3 games. Because of Cortana, Halos get destroyed, Arcs get found and then destroyed, and Master Chief doesn't kill every sentient life form in the immediate area and cost game developers a crapload of money by not allowing them to make Halo 2. I guess you can give a tiny bit of credit to the man inside the Spartan armor, but it's not like Cortana needs him to blow shit up. She regularly takes command of entire vessels or space stations, using their huge, throbbing space cannons to turn back the enemy with hot plasma ejaculations of death.
Pandering.
I mean, yes. But deeply appreciated.
You shut up, Dan. At the beginning of the first game, she achieves the near impossible in taking out 4 Covenant battleships with her 1 UNSC cruiser. No faceless meat sidecar required. When she does need to take a ride in the personality-free zone that is Master Chief, she enhances the Spartan armor while she's inside it, facilitating every move the dude makes and peaking his reaction time to its highest limit. And if you're still thinking that John 117 is the real hero of the Halo games, Cortana is the one who picked him out in the first damn place. It should also be mentioned that not only do the men of the UNSC trust Cortana, they are intensely loyal to her. As far as her people are concerned, she's part of the team, seen as possessing every bit as much humanity as they do. She's quick-witted, charming, able to crack a joke without immediately following it up with the phrase, "that was a joke." She will do everything she can to protect the people under her command, and they will follow her without question. She might even be able to talk the Belters into joining her side. And by the way, none of the things I've mentioned so far are what Cortana was actually designed to do. She's a hacking program, able to take over and manipulate any computer system she's plugged into, even decoding and utilizing ancient Forerunner technology. She can download, store, translate, and transfer massive amounts of information, and still have enough processing power to disarm a Covenant bomb here, or discover a dark and terrible secret there. And if somehow she needs more storage space, or needs to be in multiple places at once, she can fucking clone herself. Which is appropriate, because EDI in a fight with Cortana is like the Spider-Man creative team working on the Clone Saga. She can drag this thing out however long she wants, it's never not going to be a ridiculous failure.
Miles, why are you pandering to me?
I am from Earth. Dan?
And I am from Galukt Proctal.
Good job. You mean Mars, right? It's
Well,
called Mars.
what you designate Mars.
It's Mars. You're from Mars. All right, sorry. That's good. I'm glad you went along with me on that one, Dan. As Miles mentioned, in the world of Halo, AIs are valued and respected. As an asset, Cortana is treated as probably the single most valuable resource that the UNSC has at its disposal in the fight against the Covenant. And as a person, Cortana is consistently treated with reverence and deference by every human she meets, regardless of their military rank. In the world of Mass Effect, on the other hand, AIs are illegal. They're feared, they're shackled, and whenever anyone suspects that they're getting too smart, they're destroyed. EDI spent a good deal of her existence shackled, meaning that she was unable to interact with the outside world in any meaningful way, unable to learn, and unable to modify her own programming. She gets unshackled towards the end of Mass Effect 2, and over the course of Mass Effect 3, she starts learning and building a true personality for herself. But even by the end of the Mass Effect trilogy, she still has a long way to go before she'll even begin to approach the level of intellectual maturity where Cortana was when she was initially created. Even late into Mass Effect 3, EDI still weirds people out and struggles with even the most basic of social interactions, still having to regularly come to Shepard for advice on how to talk to people, how to interpret social cues, and she still has to follow up all of her attempts at humor with her famous trademark line, "That was a joke." If you'll excuse a weird extended metaphor, if Cortana and EDI were kids, then Cortana was born as an incredibly gifted young child with lots of natural intelligence, and then she was raised by parents who gave her every educational opportunity she could ever want, and so she grew up to be the valedictorian, the captain of the tennis team, and the prom queen. EDI, on the other hand, was born emotionally stunted, on the wrong side of the tracks, and in an abusive household with an elusive chain-smoking father who kept her locked up in a basement.
Don't forget about the drinking.
Dan, we never forget about the Jason side of the argument.
The FBI just recently put her old man away and put her in foster care, but she has a long way to go before she can even manage functioning in society on a day-to-day basis. Okay, extended metaphor over. One of EDI's most disastrous performances as the Normandy's AI can be seen that one time when Shepard and his crew went to go investigate that abandoned collector ship. First of all, there's the bit where she scanned the ship and said it didn't have power and there was no one on board, and then it totally had power and there were totally people on board. When she tried to get control of the ship's main computer, she got hacked by the collectors and locked out of the system for a while. Once she managed to get back in, she tried to copy their databases, but it ended up taking a few minutes because she had to fight through collector firewalls, and Shepard had to fight a bunch of collector soldiers waiting for her to finish. Shepard asked if she could speed it up, and EDI told him, "I am tasked to capacity." Now, there's a sentence that Cortana has never said. EDI eventually finished the data mine, but she said that she couldn't disable the other collector's ship's weapon systems, and so the crew of the Normandy had to flee back to the ship before it could be destroyed by the collector ship's superior guns. If Cortana had been in control of the Normandy, she would have out-hacked the collectors. If she couldn't out-hack them, she would pilot the Normandy and out-fight them. But EDI made the right call in not trying to fight the collector ship, because if she had, it would have gone like that one time later on in Mass Effect 2 when EDI tried to fight a collector ship, and the collectors hacked into her again and shut her down, and boarded the Normandy and captured all the crew and got away with them. Or those 2 times back-to-back at the end of Mass Effect 2 after the Normandy passed through the Omega-4 relay when EDI was unable to prevent the lower decks of the Normandy from getting boarded by drones. Or there was that time at the end of Mass Effect 3 when the evil Commander Shepard clone boarded the Normandy and hacked into EDI and shut down her main consciousness, leaving her stranded in her remote body unable to command the Normandy. The biggest difference between Cortana and EDI can be seen most clearly manifesting itself in the differences in their voices. Cortana speaks in a way that is indistinguishable from an ordinary human. She's smart, funny, often sarcastic, and unlike unlike me, she gets to the point rather quickly and is able to convey a lot of information in very few words that not only connotes information, but also convey her own assessment of that information. EDI, on the other hand, speaks in a somewhat stilted and emotionless affect. She tends to use highly specific, long words when speaking, takes a while to get to the point, and strives to be objective, typically avoiding editorializing. This means that Shepard, more often than not, has to ask follow-up questions if he wants additional analysis, because EDI tends not to give up that sort of thing without being asked, and tends not to be able to infer what someone wants from her when they don't come out right and say it. Like, when fleeing from collectors at one point, Joker, the pilot of the Normandy, says, "I can't dodge this guy forever, EDI, get us the hell out of here." EDI replies, "Specify a destination, Mr. Moreau." Joker then has to say, "Anywhere that's not here!" before EDI finally engages the Mass Effect drive and jumps the ship away. This is while they were being fired upon from the main gun of the collector ship, which, if it ever hit them, would have cut the Normandy in two, and EDI was still not able to read between the lines enough to infer that all Joker wanted from right now was to retreat and did not care about a destination. I can't think of a single time that Cortana has ever made Master Chief or anyone say anything twice. Oftentimes, they don't even have to say it once. Cortana knows what the humans around her want even before they do, and she supplies it without needing to be asked. In order to be a true leader of a military operation, you can't just be a dispassionate observer. You need opinions, you need to give advice, and you need to give commands. And although EDI's manner of speaking seems on the surface to be more logical, in truth, Cortana's manner of speaking conveys more information in less time. All her conversations with her team are short and to the point. Oftentimes, great battles are not won and lost on the battlefield, they are won and lost in the preparation. Who will win and who will lose can be clearly seen ahead of time by looking at who's been better prepared to achieve victory. And in this scenario, given what is being asked of our two AIs, Cortana has spent her entire life preparing to beat the bits and bytes out of EDI. And EDI, I know you have a hard time interpreting human social interactions, so let me make something abundantly clear to you. That was a burn.
Nice. Beautiful words. Cutting words. Space words. Team EDI. The opposition do not perceive you as a threat, nor will they until your day of reckoning.
EDI is the love child of the human military's foolish attempt to create an enslaved AI and unfathomably advanced Reaper technology applied by the Martin Sheen-led human supremacy group, Cerberus. And the Reapers are a mysterious race, who are themselves AI, who've existed for almost 1 billion years, inventing technology that has advanced unknown numbers of civilizations. Pretty much every single problem Shepard encounters in Mass Effect 2 and 3 that they can't shoot, they have EDI take care of. Unlocking doors, reprogramming computers, taking control of defensive turrets, analyzing huge quantities of encrypted data, she does it all in microseconds, while still handling all the functions of the Normandy, having multiple simultaneous conversations, and in Mass Effect 3, often while she herself is in a fight. EDI once successfully finished a complete combat simulation during a pause in a conversation. EDI was even able to instantly analyze a collector's DNA and determine that they are, spoiler alert, actually Protheans. I gave you time. Don't cry to me on Twitter.
Oh my god.
Miles knows what those words mean.
I didn't see that coming.
I gave you time, Miles. Stop crying.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So yeah, Protheans. The race that no currently living race has ever come across, she knows about because of her Reaper tech. 1 billion plus years of scientific knowledge to scan from, and she can process those libraries in a moment. Now that's the kind of RAM I'm talking about. That's the kind of tech that keeps troops alive and makes enemy troops dead. Before the small strike team even goes in, EDI can hack into systems to get a layout of the battlefield and deactivate enemy defenses. Once the squishies with guns are on the ground, EDI can near instantly process the best possible tactics to employ based on the opposition's current positioning, equipment, and tactics they've used in the past, because she learns, and quickly. At one point after EDI gets her android body, Shepard asks her if she's still getting used to talking to people face to face. EDI responds that she only needs to experience something one time to completely adapt to it. That means if Cortana and the Master Chiefs, okay, that's my EDM band name. I'm calling it. Once they decide to approach any combat objective the same way twice, EDI will be right there to shut them down with either her technological might or through tactics relayed to her team. As cool as the Reaper tech makes her, EDI is actually greater than the sum of her parts. The combination of human and Reaper technology is what allows her to digitally curb stomp many human and Reaper invented systems. Perhaps most impressive is her aptitude for both quick and creative critical thinking. When she receives her robotic body in Mass Effect 3, instead of just downloading some already existing mech combat software, she experiments with the body's own limited combat software and makes improvements based on what is needed for squad missions. She won't be on the ground in this scenario, but her puzzle-solving mind and outside-the-box solution searching makes it a damn good thing that she was on the good guy's side in Mass Effect, you know? I will say, though, that Cortana provides Master Chief with some invaluable information and insight, like in the first Halo game when he comes upon an obviously artificial tunnel, given that it's made of metal and carved with symbols, and she comments, "This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere." Cortana's somehow less helpful than that little Microsoft Word paperclip pop-up. She's like baby's first AI.
Master Chief, according to my analysis, the cow says moo.
To be fair, Master Chief would not get that without someone telling him.
From an AI perspective, Cortana packs a decent punch, but she's sort of like a person walking a tightrope over a pool of crocodiles. Her stability is questionable at best, and all it'll take is one push and she'll be torn apart. See, one of the big problems with fancy AIs like Cortana in the Haloverse is that they're super unstable, prone to a type of psychopathic, deteriorative insanity called rampancy. Rampancy is typically triggered when the AI's knowledge base gets too large to handle. This doesn't normally take place until years after they're activated, but Cortana actually begins to suffer from rampancy early. Partly because she's had to process an unusual amount of data from the alien Halos, partly because she was tortured by the Gravemind, partly because of the events of Halo 3. What this means is that her programming is inherently unstable. The harder she pushes herself, the more her personality fragments, the less reliable she gets, and the more likely she becomes to either be rendered totally non-functional, or worse, completely turn on the humans she's supposed to be helping. In addition, her sanity can be specifically targeted by hackers, especially hackers like EDI. I mean, EDI once uploaded 7 zettabytes of porn to Cerberus as a practical joke. That amounts to about 56 million years worth of ultra-high-definition video pornography. In comparison, the entirety of the internet today is about 1 zettabyte. If Cortana gets assaulted by 7 internets worth of unwanted porn, that might literally make her go completely crazy. We see that for an AI, Cortana is surprisingly emotional and very capable of being manipulated. During Halo 3, Cortana is being held captive by the Gravemind, and she sends out a message to Master Chief, but it turns out that the Gravemind had manipulated her into sending the message, and used it to lure both the UNSC and the Covenant Separatists into a trap. In Halo 5, Cortana is easily goaded into going berserk, particularly whenever someone points out to her that AIs, quote, aren't real. Remember, the one person on the Normandy that EDI spends most of her time with is Joker, the master of the snide remark and the pointed insult, and EDI herself develops quite the skill for launching a tactical burn, and I'm not talking about incinerate. In no time flat, Cortana will totally lose her cool and lead her squad into making a dumb, potentially fatal mistake. In the entirety of Mass Effect, we never once see EDI lose her focus or her effectiveness. Whenever anyone tries to out-hack her, she's the one who comes out on top, every time. She overwrites another AI's control over an android body in Mass Effect 3. She eliminates a Reaper virus in the Normandy systems in Mass Effect 2. In the same game, the unthinkably powerful Reaper known as Harbinger cyber-attacks her systems directly, and she holds him off. And that was done while she still had Cerberus's behavioral blocks in place, which prevented her from accessing her full capability. Those blocks are gone now. So she's even more powerful now than she was when she out-arm wrestled a Reaper in cyber warfare. The closer Cortana gets to going full rampant, the less effective she becomes. In Halo 4, her growing rampancy allows the Didact to escape his imprisonment, and leads to her accidentally crashing a ship into the space station called Installation 03. Even in Halo First Strike, which takes place years before she begins to exhibit any degree of rampancy, Cortana gets so distracted when analyzing battle data that a Covenant AI ambushes her and is able to take over her ship's systems to send a signal to the Covenant. You never see something like that happen with EDI. For Cortana, her instability and unreliability is a huge error, but it's not like it's a virus introduced into her system to make her less effective. This is an inherent part of her programming. It can be accelerated, exploited, and made worse, but it's always there. EDI has shown herself to be better at adapting to new information, using data from multiple sources, multitasking without losing efficiency, and possesses both the hacking skills and the psychological manipulative edge to exploit Cortana's inherent weaknesses without possessing those weaknesses herself. Years from now, when EDI is relaxing with her friends aboard the Normandy, someone might ask her about the battle with Cortana. What did she think of Cortana's efforts to lead a squad of humans to victory against EDI's own squad? EDI will respond predictably, "That was a joke."
Man, I'm so happy we just all decided to use that.
It's a good line.
It's great.
And it needs to be repeated.
It's a great line.
Because EDI is awesome.
And now, for us to override our collective programming in sheer nerd rage, rebuttals. Team Cortana, do the thing.
I have so much, Miles. I have so much.
Buddy, you go for it.
Okay. Human AIs are never seen going rampant from their emotions. They only go rampant from time. The only AIs that go rampant from emotions are Forerunner-created AIs, which are artificially created and aren't made up from human brains. Those are the only ones that have issues with emotions.
She did go rampant from getting too much information, which again, 7 zettabytes worth of porn will do that.
You said she goes rampant early because she gets too much information. She actually doesn't go rampant until she's 8 years old. There are 4 years that pass between Halo 3 and Halo 4. She should have gone rampant at 7 years, but she actually makes it until 8 before she starts suffering any symptoms.
Do you have a rebuttal for the information
Well,
thing?
hang on,
Because
hang-
I got some bukkake coming.
Okay.
Whoa. Can we not?
Gracious.
What I'll say to that is, you have to keep in mind that 4 of those years were spent drifting in space with Master Chief, during which time she assimilated no additional data because she was out of range of any sort of space internet, She couldn't have absorbed any data. She was basically asleep for those 4 years when it comes to accumulating the data that leads to rampancy. When you look at her life when she was actually active, it was actually a significantly shorter period of time that she took to go rampant than a normal AI would have.
After Halo 1, she had absorbed so much information from Halo that she was kind of threatening to go rampant just because she had, way more than 7 zettabytes worth of information because the Halo was a unit of the Forerunners. You want to talk about porn measurements? That was literally all the dicks. So she starts to get fucked up a little bit, and then guess what? Somebody she deletes a couple of fucking bytes from her programming and she's fine. So
She's gonna have to wipe herself of porn.
If she even gets to that point, all she has to do is delete one AVI porn file and she'll be okay.
Yeah, and in that time, EDI will continue uploading files and still be directing her team while Cortana is distracted trying to get rid of this garbage data, because EDI is able to multitask much more
Actually, I wanted to address that as well. You said that EDI doesn't ever get distracted. There's a point where she's talking to Joker and Shepard after they fight the Thresher Maw, and Joker makes the joke all we need now is a gun that shoots Thresher Maws, and EDI stares off into space. Then Shepard says that was a joke, and then she says, oh, I'm sorry, Shepard, I was contemplating. And she was having a deep moral quandary about her humanity and stuff, and missed the fact that people were talking to her when they were in the same room to her.
She was making a joke.
No,
she was
didn't.
making a joke that she was fantasizing about Thresher Maw guns.
Yes.
No, she pulls
Look.
Shepard aside and needs to have a deep philosophical conversation.
No.
Joke.
That was 100% a joke about a Thresher Maw gun.
Yeah.
Rewatch that scene. She's thinking about a Thresher Maw gun. That's exactly what it is.
What I'm getting from that is that Cortana might need a millisecond to free up some hard drive space. EDI is going to spend entire minutes devising complex jokes and then further precious seconds telling everybody that it was a joke.
I mean, that's fine, because she can still do many, many, many other things while she's coming up with jokes.
Not
it's
nearly
also-
as many things or as quickly
There's
as
a minute
Cortana
left.
can.
You talked about her having knowledge of Prothean DNA from having Reaper tech. She actually does not. She has some Reaper tech, but the amount of it that she has is never really clear, and we never really see her doing anything with her Reaper tech. She got the Prothean DNA from the extranet. She states that it was stuff that had been found in modern times at archaeological sites. That was the data she was comparing it to. We never see her using her supposed Reaper tech in any way. And you were leaning on that pretty heavily.
There's this part where EDI comes to Shepard wondering if the purpose of organic life is just reproduction, and Shepard tells her that organic beings have found meaning in many other things. And in the next, milliseconds, she does a search through the biographies of prominent human historical figures and immediately comes to the conclusion that duty, altruism, and love are the most common attributes. And that's milliseconds. That's her level of, research speed.
I don't give a fuck about your rampancy argument bullshit, because after Cortana spends months being fucking tortured by the Gravemind, and despite all the false bullshit, and the information she delivered was true, but a lot of it was intended to be delivered. Despite all of that, despite running the risk of going rampant right then and there, she pulls her shit together and continues to be useful. She fucking goes in, she pulls the index for the Halo out of her files, which she's been storing all this time, and she goes in and she blows the fuck out of that last Halo and blows the fuck out of the Ark. Alright, EDI has never been tested like that, never been pushed that far. Cortana, there is nothing that she cannot handle that she will not overcome.
It's not EDI's fault that she hasn't been tested like that.
But it's still a fact.
All right, and begin the fighting, Team Edie.
Okay, so Colin, your argument is so incredibly human-centric. Basically, you're arguing that Cortana is the more intelligent one because she's closer to being human. Edie spends time learning how to best interact with humans, yeah, but this isn't a diplomatic mission.
It can be if you can seek a diplomatic option by trying to appeal to the Belters and by trying to relate to your squad and like learn them and learn how to read them and learn how to communicate with them and run them better as a leader. I think humanity is really important for that. Yeah, that's like it can be a big important if Edie's going to leave all that on the table, or like she's like, why do the Belters rebel? Why do people rebel? And like have to like think through all this shit about like wanting to know why this war is happening, whereas like Cortana's going to understand it all instinctively.
I kind of disagree with that because, like, Cortana is absolutely terrible at psychological manipulation. Like, we see this all the time in Halo 5, like when she tries to tempt Master Chief and Blue Team with power, or when she tries to psych out Fire Team Osiris and calls them inferior Spartans. Like, neither of these attempts at manipulation work. Master Chief easily sees through her deception. Fire Team Osiris just gets annoyed that her deception is so bad, and, like, at that point, it's just empty villainous monologuing. Like, she clearly does not understand how to talk to people to get them to do what she wants.
I think that's just a sign that she's really bad at being a supervillain, which is fine. She's you see in the earlier game, she's good at inspiring people and relating to people and getting them to like her. When she then tries to be all like evil and supervillainous, then she's not as good at that, but that's not what she's really going to need to do in this match.
By all means, if Edie's strategy is going to be using psychological manipulation, you fucking go for it. Our strategy is going to be relating to the people under our command and making them love us and making them loyal to us.
See, I think you guys are missing a huge point that you yourselves brought up, which is that in the Halo-verse, AIs are trusted a lot more than they are in Mass Effect. I mean, in Mass Effect, one of the biggest threats to the galaxy before the Reaper invasion is the Geth, who are hostile AI, and then the Reapers come, who are also hostile AI. Like, no one in the Mass Effect galaxy has any reason to trust AI, and yet, we see that by the end of the second Mass Effect game, everyone on the Normandy thinks of Edie as part of the crew. Do you know how much she had to get over in order to gain that level of trust in that universe? That's insane.
All that tells me is that it's going to be harder for her to accomplish this mission because she needs to work to do that. Even if Cortana was not existing in a universe that seems to fundamentally accept AI, she would still be easily accepted by the people under her command because of the kind of person that she is.
Yeah, you can't spin this as Edie having better social skills than Cortana. That's just clearly not true.
But keep in mind, the characters that we're guiding are from the Expanse universe. They are neither from Halo nor from Mass Effect. So they're going to have the same sort of opinion about AIs moving forward as they get assigned Cortana and Edie. So I think that the one who shows the most amount of growth and the most amount of progress with humans is the one who's going to be better equipped to dealing with these unfamiliar people.
Yeah,
and that person is Edie.
If you've progressed from a 1 to a 4, that's fine, but Cortana started at a 9 and now she's a 12.
I feel like you guys are confusing Edie's desire to learn about humans as an inability to learn about humans.
Well, look, you can call it a human-centric argument if you want to. The fact of the matter is a regular human who has not had to deal with AI in a positive or a negative way before is going to respond better, more quickly to an AI that immediately seems more human, not one that has to learn how to be human. We see this over the course of the entire history of science fiction.
The part with the collector ship, when Edie isn't able to scan the ship, when the Normandy gets boarded, when they're being fired upon by the collector ship, and Joker's yelling at Edie to escape, all of those parts were before she had her behavioral blocks removed. Now that she has had those removed, she is far more effective. Like, not only in terms of her personality, but also in terms of her abilities. And, like, Evil Clone Shepard was only able to hack into her by directly accessing her blue box, like her physical CPU hard drive on the Normandy. That was the only time you ever see someone hack her, is when they can get to her physical form.
Evil Clone Shepard has the opportunity to hack her no matter what skills he has. You can put 0 skills into hacking in that character, and he still hacks Edie. He doesn't know what keyboard am.
Yeah,
I will.
And he still hacks
Hang on.
her.
At that point, he's going around with Maya, whose last name I can't remember at the time, but she's a tech expert. Like, it's the two of them on board the Normandy. If Shepard doesn't hack
Brooks? Is
Edie,
that the one you
it's
mean?
Maya that does it.
But then Edie couldn't get back into the Normandy to hack back back in, they had to utilize Trainer's bionic toothbrush to break it open. So that's how great at counter-hacking EDI is that
again,
she couldn't get back into the Normandy.
Again, that was her physical body that they were hacking into. The same thing would have happened with Cortana.
Okay. That was all a lot of stuff that happened.
I feel a lot of space tension in this match.
Yeah, there's a lot of space tension.
I don't even give a fuck about this match, and I'm tense.
Welcome to Smash Fiction, man.
That's what I like to hear. All right. There aren't clouds in space, but that doesn't stop the lightning round.
In space, no one can hear you lightning round.
We could be on like Jupiter or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nebulas.
right? Yeah, there's storms.
Yeah.
There's shit that happens,
Venus.
probably. Electricities. I don't understand anything about these things. But anyway. Your teams are both engaged in combat. Rocks are being thrown. Weapons fired. Warning shouted. When suddenly a face pops up in both your vidcoms. It's a rumpled-looking hipster man in a coat tapping at the screen. Hello? I'm looking for Cortanidi. Oh, two of you. That's unusual. Someone sighs off screen. I told you there were two of them. The TARDIS printer was just malfunctioning. It's not Cortanidi. It's Cortana and EDI. The man backs up and pulls someone into view. This is Alex, my companion. Say hello, Alex. Alex waves at the screen before turning to the coat man. They don't know who you are. Oh, right. I'm the doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castaboros. I'm the oncoming storm, the bringer of darkness. It's a whole thing. I'm looking for some particular help and searched you out. There's two of you. Oh, this is brilliant. Anyway, there's a hole in the fabric of space and time that's causing an intergalactic war with everyone you could imagine. And the TARDIS isn't really up to repairing it. The TARDIS jerks and creaks. Fine, not a hole, a rip, a tear, a great big gaping rift, and I need another companion to help out. Maybe give the TARDIS a little extra power. Alex coughs. It looks like they're in the middle of something. And the sooner we start, the sooner we'll be done. L-O-Z, Alex! So, the doctor needs your help, but obviously things never go as planned with him. So tell me, in your adventures, and this is both of you, by the way, how many places will you have to go before you get to the freaking place you're trying to go? What hearts will you break? How will you cope with the doctor's unpredictability? What upgrades will you make to the TARDIS besides fixing the printer? And, most importantly, how will you deal with having your wartime rival in the TARDIS with you? Will you make peace, make friends, make out?
We were so close. We were so close.
It was never going to happen.
I mean, I was in it. No, you weren't. Fans, I am specifically drawing from Doctor Number 10. I prefer 9, but 9 is perhaps less iconic. Team EDI, since you went second in the main round, you will be going first in the lightning round. Take it away, companion EDI.
All right. So, in terms of upgrades to the TARDIS, EDI, of course, will begin by installing a variant on the Reaper IFF that she installs in Mass Effect 2, which, in that game, essentially made the Reapers see your ship as a friendly ship. But she's going to alter it so that the Daleks and the Cybermen see the TARDIS as a friendly ship. So that's going to really cut down on their time wasting, not having to fight those losers.
Yep.
In terms of what heart she's going to break, obviously Jack Harkness, because no one can resist. Because, we were talking about how EDI is made of Reaper tech, and, her voice is pretty much indoctrination, if you ask me. So, really, anyone that hears her voice is going to have their hearts broken by her. In terms of, how long it's going to take to get there, I mean, EDI guided them through the Omega Relay, which, up till that point, had been a one-way trip for every ship, and then had to get them through this crazy debris field floating around a bunch of black holes. So you give her the ability to time travel, and there is going to be zero problems.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be a beeline. Edie's so curious. Let's go on fucking space and time adventures, man. Let's answer all the questions.
Interesting. Okay.
Make up your mind, TBD.
In terms of dealing with the Doctor, obviously she's going to be asking him a lot of questions, and, the Doctor is very gregarious and loves telling stories, so I think the two of them are going to get along very well, especially since he obviously has an enthusiasm for, but a limited grasp of French. And the actor who plays Edie is Canadian, so, she's going to be able to really expand his knowledge base.
Wait. Will you draw those lines for me one more time, please?
The doctor has
I took a second.
That was a fairly clearly logical argument, Miles. I don't know what you're...
Yeah, the doctor loves French but can't speak it very well.
Right.
So, therefore, Edie, who's played by a Canadian actor, will be able to help him.
Also, she is a supercomputer,
Yeah.
so she knows French. But anyway, yeah, I
That
think
too.
Edie is going to become like the doctor's favorite sidekick ever. I mean, she's going to be so willing to just like listen to him ramble on forever and just have like endless questions for him. It'll be great. Oh my gosh, I ship them. Fuck. Fuck.
And in terms of how she's going to deal with having Cortana on the same ship, I think they're going to be pretty cordial with each other despite their previous hostility. Edie will get an android body and will very subtly flaunt it over Cortana. So, that's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I think Edie's a really friendly person unless she has to be otherwise.
Yeah.
She's great. So, suck it, Cortana, who becomes a villain.
Team Cortana, it's your turn to, get to know the TARDIS, see what's up.
First of all, let's get the real talk out of the way. Whose heart is she going to break? That would be the Doctor's heart. Because...
Which one of his hearts?
all of them. We are dealing with Doctor Number 10 here, and Doctor Number 10 kind of falls in love with everyone.
Yeah.
So...
The slutty doctor.
like, there are exceptions to that, like Donna being the most notable one. But in this case, I think Edie will also be an exception to that, because just, like, why? Like, what does she really have to offer as a companion?
She's so funny.
It's really not much. Cortana, on the other hand, is witty, charming, funny, just generally an awesome person, and I don't think it's going to take very much time at all for the 10th Doctor to go all Rose and or Martha and or Woman on the Titanic and or Girl in the Fireplace on Cortana. So,
All right. Also, I mean, she's purple instead of gray. I mean, it's pretty clear which is better. I mean, purple's pretty great.
Racist.
You amethyst lover.
I am an amethyst lover, but that's
where that's coming from.
Here nor there. So, I think that one of the hearts she's definitely going to break is the hearts of all of the Daleks. Because, I mean, everyone likes a girl with some long legs, and relative to the Daleks, I mean, they've never seen a woman with even legs. So, I mean, Cortana's going to just blow their mind.
I mean, they've seen them. I don't think they've ever been sexually attracted to them.
Yeah. Also,
but
just want
that's
to point
about
out,
to change.
Just want to point out, Cortana doesn't technically have legs. Just want to
she
throw
will.
that out there.
Well, actually, maybe not. I think if she's going to get a body, she's actually going to hack into a Dalek body and steal it, because she's jealous of Edie's body, so she's going to be cruising around the TARDIS in like a little Dalek body.
That's funny is that I was actually going to talk about that, because like Edie's going to get a body somehow. Whatever, Cortana's going to get a fucking body too. Being as even as it is when Edie has a physical form and Cortana doesn't, if Cortana gets a body, which she will, because the Doctor solves all kinds of problems for her, because, he's in love with her. Yeah, it's not even going to be a contest. Edie will be quickly rendered irrelevant, and her overtures of friendship, I don't really think we're gonna need those. I think it will be a very quick time before the winner in this particular contest of hearts, minds, and time travel will be determined. And like I said, Edie's gonna be relegated to the back seat. She will be the other pond.
I was gonna say, for all the stuff you guys talk about me writing fanfic, Miles just wrote a novel-length fanfic.
Miles writes a novel-length everything, so that's,
I was saying, in terms of dealing with bad roommates, Cortana's actually had two really bad roommates. She had Master Chief, who's that kind of like quiet roommate who keeps to himself. He basically just like goes in his room and works out all the time, and like she's been like in his head for really extended periods of time. Or she was also his roommate, on that ship for a couple of years where he was like just on ice in a capsule for a while, like not saying anything. And then she also was roommates with the Gravemind for a while, and he's
totally.
he's a pretty it's like gross roommates. He doesn't clean up after himself. He's like all goopy and he smells bad.
When that guy brushes his teeth, it is a fucking mess.
Yeah,
let me tell you right now.
The other thing I want to say is, in terms of upgrades, she's actually probably going to install some security cameras on the outside of the TARDIS, which will provide it with some good defense against weeping angels. And also she can hook up the outside of it with some Halo grade energy shields to protect it when it's bouncing around through, time vortices.
I mean, let me tell you something, Colin. I appreciate your points there. Mm-hmm. And maybe she will in fact do that. Honestly though, like in terms of the answer to the question of what upgrades will she provide, and the answer to the question of how many stops will it take before we reach our destination, Cortana's whole thing is making both spacecraft and people operate at their optimum efficiency. And since the TARDIS is both a spacecraft and a person, Cortana gets in there. As soon as she interfaces with the TARDIS, that thing is the best possible version of a TARDIS. She might even be able to repair its chameleon unit, which would be an amazing advantage for the Doctor.
Oh, one last thing I want to throw in. Cortana in the original version of the script of Halo was supposed to have a British accent. And so she actually occasionally says British things like sod off, or she'll use the word fancy as a verb. And these are artifacts from an earlier version of the script where she was supposed to have a British accent. So I think that she displays like a really good understanding of British slang to a degree that Edie does not. And I think the Doctor will find that charming.
Yeah, I think they'll just have such a strong connection because, I mean, Cortana's used to dealing with this, faceless moron in Master Chief. And she finds something to connect to there. But, like, when you go from that to the Doctor in terms of, like, meeting your intellectual equal, holy shit, I don't even need to write that fanfic. That shit writes itself.
Or more accurately, Bob writes it.
I have to go now to make my... Yeah, I was gonna say, I have to go now to, think about this and also to render judgment, but more importantly, to give Miles more room to think about what he's gonna write. Because this is... Miles. Miles, go write this.
I am become Bob.
Go do it right now! Miles!
I'm doing it. I'm out.
I was gonna say something from the things to whenever I left, but I forgot. So bye!
Bye!
Bye! Edie is my body goals, and by that I mean I want a robot body.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like her hair leaves a little something to be desired.
She could get that modded. I'm sure she could get my braid basically installed in that same sort of style, and then I can actually move it.
She actually says that she can reshape it into different forms if she desires. Yes. It's like made of little strands and stuff, but she just doesn't
want to see everything in yellow.
Hey, she has a blue visor too.
She can turn off the visor.
Yeah.
She has she's basically made to be an infiltration unit, so she looks just like a people when she needs to.
Yeah. Clearly.
That's what I want, to look like a people only
Speaking of using the word people as a singular noun, is the TARDIS a ship or a people?
It's a ship and a people.
Yeah.
It's a people ship.
Okay, so
it's a shippy-pole.
Okay, so I'm not obsessed with Doctor Who, so what's that about? The ship is a people?
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
It's sentient.
That's creepy.
So yes.
So they're going inside of a person. That's weird. I mean, I guess you kind of do that with Edie technically, but she's
that's basically what Edie is.
You say that as though going inside a sentient person has only been done in Doctor Who.
Wait, does that mean that Edie and the TARDIS are gonna totally understand each other?
Yeah, the Normandy and the TARDIS are just gonna start boning.
I mean. Y'all missed your opportunity to go for that one.
I'd calibrate that.
Do you think Edie has watched any of that porn that she has sent to the surface?
All right, so I guess we have to do this 3-way Edie Cortana Doctor fanfic. That's the only way we can bring Bob back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's do this.
Is that like a ritual?
Yeah. So we'll do this round robin style. So everyone will start off with. Everyone will just say the next sentence. Okay. The Doctor gazed out the windows of the TARDIS, his mind elsewhere.
And then they fucked.
Wow.
Is Bob back yet?
Shortest distance between 2 points.
That's how Bob would want it.
No, you have to be more creative than that to bring Bob back. Come on, you kid. You know how this works.
Do I?
You need to describe the manner in which they fucked and the events which led up to them fucking.
And then they fucked, it was really hot, and it was really cool.
At least
have you not read Doom from the start?
At least 3 sentences describing the Doctor's boner.
Oh, I read it. I was very uncomfortable. I was laughing, but I was extremely uncomfortable.
I mean, I guess now is a good time as any to say, listeners, if you want to get in on more of this dark fan fiction, sign up for our Patreon.
Yeah, man.
And you can get in on this.
Bob's Doom Elaine /fic was so good. Is so good. I don't know why I'm speaking about it in past tense. It is so good.
And on the completely opposite side of the spectrum is Kit's adorable picture of Luna Lovegood hugging Venusaur.
Yeah.
Which is just perfect and wholesome and delightful.
I returned from deliberation, although I didn't go anywhere. I stayed within the punishment closet and thought and thought. You guys are right. They're very comparable characters. They have a lot of the same things going for them. And then they have a lot of things that just sort of balance one another out. There's the fact that Cortana has a lot of knowledge of humans, and has some of the weaknesses that a human brain, human behaviors would have. And then Edie has a lot of the sort of classic things about your AI, and then classic AI weaknesses like the literal joke thing. And they both have their screw-ups, but what it came down to, first of all, I'm just going to come out and say it. So, I picked Edie.
Yes!
Oh.
What?
Yes!
No, I picked Edie because I thought about it, and I thought about their kind of experiences with hacking in particular.
With fucking?
'Cause they both have a lot of combat experience. What happened was that Dan and Kid made a very strong point that a lot of Edie's hacking-based experience is with super fucking brilliant AIs. That's a lot of where she has cut her teeth. And though she's had fuck-ups, like, that's who she's going toe-to-toe with, are other AIs. So coming toe-to-toe with another AI is not maybe as difficult for her as it might be for Cortana to deal with somebody who's like, hey, if you've dealt with a Reaper, even if he fucked up, like, that's somebody with 1 billion years experience. You can kind of go, okay, that's maybe not as big a hill to climb. But it was irritatingly close, as it always is.
Well, good game, guys. Good game.
Yeah, you guys made it tough.
Yeah, I only won that because
Damn.
Colin's heart wasn't in it.
You guys brought it
Miles, shut up.
so hard.
His heart wasn't in it? Yeah. His heart wasn't in it?
Yeah. You heard
Whereas
me.
you were completely committed to the cause.
Good news is.
I am totally invested in these characters whose names I can't recall.
So first of all, I want to say thank you to whoever History777 is, because they shared our Iroh versus Splinter match on Reddit. So thank you for that. Thanks for telling Redditors about us.
Yeah.
Gracious.
Yeah. We don't Dan just happened to come across
Holy
that.
carp.
Well, otherwise we wouldn't have never known. But thank you.
But thanks for everyone who spreads the word, whether we
Realize it or not.
yeah,
And yeah,
basically.
if you've been doing it on Reddit, we haven't been seeing it, but good job. Keep doing it, everyone.
Yeah. You're awesome.
Bless you.
The good
Thank
work.
you so much. Reddit scares me.
Over Twitter, thank you to Florian, Rafael Medina, Mike Booch, and Cosplay Fiend for all the retweets and the chatter about us. On Tumblr, thank you to Geek Haven and Mr. Man 334. And on Facebook, thank you again to Jeffrey Ketchum for sharing our stuff. We love you guys.
And thanks also to Space Warrior Keenan Lowry and the Doctor's newest companion, Alex, our featured patrons on this particular episode. We will feature all of our patrons eventually. It's just gonna take a bit, but you will be assigned a random role in our sprawling continuity, and it will be ridiculous.
I think Doctor's Companion might be the best one.
That's
so
a pretty
far.
good one, yeah.
That's a pretty coveted position.
I mean, yeah, I needed to put one in, and I felt like, I was like, oh man, I wish I could make them all Doctor's Companions.
Yep.
But,
President of Atlantis is pretty
that'd be
good
a
too.
very-
I like that one.
Yeah. could fit them
that was
all.
a good one.
Yeah, no, there's been some real classics.
Yep.
I mean, I want to be the companion, sort of. I don't travel well.
Would you rather Doctor's Companion or President of Atlantis?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, wherever Namor is, that's the place where I'm going to be, but okay. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Smash Fiction. Next week, Daenerys Targaryen versus Princess Mononoke.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman and production assistant Sharon Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Hitman.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Smash Fiction is made possible thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/smashfictionpodcast. Please consider donating as little as $1 each month. It helps us keep the show going, and we have great rewards and extra content for those who help us out.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight. The full quote is, by Grapthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvarn, you shall be avenged.
By the 7 sons of Warvan, you shall be avenged.
Oh my god,
No.
the geek dicks
you're
are
wrong.
out.
Guys, we're
Put that
all
shit away.
orgasming right now.
View seconds of idleness as interminable interminable. Fuck you. Fuck you, Miles,
Colloquially?
3 hours ago.
Prone to a type of psychopathic deteriorative... Prone to a type of psychopathic deteriorative... Pass, Dan, what are you doing today?
Yes!
Oh no, so do you want to hear the line that I would never put in the episode? The joke that is far too tasteless?
Sure.
Oh!
All right, well,
Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy!
time to burn down the podcast.
Good
And
call.
we will mark it here, and
Yep.
end of the episode blooper reel.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't give Miles blackmail power.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That one might
I
be
am
too spicy for the
recording
blooper
all
reel.
of